Hied 597G, final paper submission. This is a public narrative for a women empowerment cultural luncheon organized by the Diversity Community Group. This is going to be in March 2015, and I have been invited as a panelist for a 7 to 10 minute talk with the participants. This talk is going to be without any technology, so no PowerPoint or anything. It's just talking to the crowd. And I have been given a tentative topic, leadership without losing yourself. So here I begin my submission. Good afternoon, ladies. I was pleasantly surprised when Carol Eicher called me to be a panelist for today's talk. However, I was also excited to share my experiences with you. I don't think I'm in a position to tell you all what works or that I have all figured out, but I can definitely share my experiences that have shaped my personal and professional life. I firmly believe that you don't need a title to be a leader. Leadership for me is visible at all levels, in any act, gesture, big or small, directed towards one person, group of people, or an entire nation. Let me give you an example of how leadership can be visible in simple acts. It was fall of 2006, and I was new to State College. I was at the Target store, and since I was new to this town, yes, I dared to shop during the move-in weekend. I was standing in line at the customer service counter to return an item. Few people ahead of me was an international student returning a comforter set. When she returned the set, the store person told her that she would only get store credit for that return. The student was confused and explained that it was really a wrong size and she really wanted to just return the set. The store person was being adamant, so the student reluctantly agreed to take the store credit. However, suddenly a lady in the line questioned the store person and said, "This is wrong. Why are you asking her to get the store credit? She can return the merchandise, right? I can see that you are misguiding her, and because she's an international person, you want her to take the store credit to buy from your store." The store person was embarrassed, apologized, and refunded the student. To me, that was leadership. Standing up for the right thing, and for someone you don't even know and you may never meet again. At that time, I also thought to myself, why didn't I speak up? So as a result, that incident has always inspired me to stand for the right thing. Both in my personal and professional growth experiences, I have tried to be true to who I am. And all along the way, two things have been very important and have remained constant in all my experiences. Those are learning and change. I have always been open to learning and change, and through them, I have tried to take leadership in whichever way possible. I consciously try to learn new things and from new experiences. After every experience, I reflect on what that taught me. Even negative experiences and failures teach us a lot. I believe in a most simple way, it at least teaches us what not to do. I was a professional chartered accountant in India, which is a CPA equivalent here in the United States. When I moved from India to Iowa, I was on a dependent visa, and I consciously decided to take a break from work. However, I soon got bored and started volunteering at the Iowa State University's financial counseling clinic. I used to help students with their personal finances and taxes. I learned so much during that experience. For instance, I learned that I really did have patience and came to realize that volunteering experience was just so rewarding, being able to help students. One thing that I had told my husband when I moved from India was that I was done studying. Completing my chartered accountancy after my bachelor's in science had really sucked out any interest left in me for coursework. But when we moved to Penn State and I was working part-time at the Office of Global Programs here, I saw this announcement of a School of International Affairs opening up in the law school. There I saw an opportunity of learning something new. Yes, I said I was done studying, but then I justified that, okay, I'm done studying finance and accounting. But this is new. So I was sure if I went back to school, it had to be something new and different. I have to tell you, I absolutely loved the experience. Even while working full time with two kids who were 2 years and 3 months old at that time, it was a great experience. With that experience, I learned and realized that there is so much I didn't know. One highlight of that experience was that I learned to speak in class. In Indian educational settings, it's a little different. You don't speak much in class unless you're asked to. Here, I was losing participation points and I was told by my professor to talk. It took me some time to change, but I learned to do that. And it came to a point that my professor said that maybe I just needed to shut up. So during my master's, I worked with a professor who just suggested that I should go and meet a professor in the higher education program. One thing led to another, and long story short, I'm expecting to complete my PhD, hopefully in 2016. When it comes to learning, I am not suggesting that college degrees are the only way of achieving this goal. However, what I am trying to say is that I wish to continue to take leadership of my own learning by seizing opportunities to learn, whether big or small. At PSU itself, I find there are so many opportunities, so many seminars, presentations, lectures, and performances that keep happening on campus. There is a diversity listserv that keeps announcing activities. And of course, the President's Commissions on racial and ethnic diversity, on women, and LGBTQ that provide so many learning opportunities all throughout the year. So, taking advantages of opportunities, whether big or small, has been my conscious effort. Secondly, importance of change has been eternal. Buddha said, change is the only constant. It gives me goosebumps imagining this statement, a sense of immense freedom from worries and stresses. This statement gives me direction to adopt the idea of change in my life. I have tried to embrace change intimately in my life. When I moved from India to Iowa, yes, a fascinating experience from traffic congestion to cornfields. I had no idea what I was going to experience. That experience changed my life. I moved from a life of running around every day with family and friends to sitting around in an apartment in a remote neighborhood of Ames without a single friend, no family, and no traffic. Something else happened in this change that I realized later, and I continue to appreciate it more and more to this day, every single day of my life. In my city in India, I was a part of racial and ethnic majority. Here in Ames, Iowa, my racial and ethnic group was a blip on the demographic map, part of a label that included 51 other countries. I was an Asian. But this experience also got me to realize the importance of diversity, something that I never thought of or took almost for granted when I was in India. But this change and realization came with several experiences that were no less important for me to learn from. For example, I learned how to respond to questions about the very things that made me who I was. The ethnic clothes, sari, that I sometimes wore, the forehead decoration, bindi, and even my ability to speak in English and use computers. Yes, some of my newfound colleagues and friends were surprised that I spoke English and knew how to use a computer, or had even seen one. I could have been offended by such questions. But then I reflected upon and took leadership in such situations, handled them responsibly, learned from them, and above all, shared these experiences with my new friends here in the US who had never been to India, and to make it their learning experience as well. So, here at PSU and in my personal life, I have become an advocate of diversity in my own small way, as much as I can. I serve on CORED, which is the President's Commission on Racial and Ethnic Diversity. I serve on diversity strategic planning committees, and personally, just questioning views of my friends and even my family towards diversity. So, for a few seconds, I would want you to think about this statement again. Change is the only constant. Trust me, it is such a powerful statement. And especially if you really internalize it, your stresses and worries of life, big or small, will look much better and manageable. I would also like to share my favorite quote by Machiavelli, an author of a seminal work, The Prince. There is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of new order of things. As I understand this quote, leadership is intrinsically tied to bringing about change. I would also like to close by stating an understanding about learning with a statement I had read somewhere. Just when I think I have learned the way to live, life changes. And that's my mantra in life. Thank you so much for inviting me and for your attention. I wish you success in all your pursuits. Thank you.